So just to start, that's the brand I like to get. I order it off Sweetwater, and as far as like, you asked about like light, medium, heavy gauge. Like that's why I said, to just say 9 gauge, is because it can vary as far as like what the thickest string is. Because some packs of strings will go from 9 to 52, whereas these go from 9 to 46. So nobody really thinks of it, at least as far as I know, no one who knows anything about strings, nobody refers to it as like I use a light gauge or heavy gauge or medium gauge string set, because like what would be light for one person, maybe medium for another, and so on. So that's why I was like, yeah, just look for the number and go with that. So I'll tell you this, like 9 is it does feel light for most people. 8 is extremely small. I don't know if anyone should even be using those, but personal preference. Maybe if you got joint issues, you need to use something like that. 10, it's not too bad. It's definitely thicker. Like the whole pack is going to be thicker. 11 gauge strings, those are going to be pretty heavy, especially for a standard tune guitar. Those could cause some pain in the fingers until you get used to it, but it could produce the sound that you like. 12 gauge, I used to use those a lot, but I'd also have to get a custom G string, one that is plain and not wound. So if you look at your low E string, you see it's all rigid, got all those ridges in there. That's because there's something wound around the string. Whereas the G string, you look at the top 3 strings, they're plain. Typically, a pack of strings that has a 12 gauge high string, the G string or the 3rd string in there will be wound. I always had to get a custom one that's plain so I could bend the string, because a wound G string, good luck bending that. About the highest you'll ever get is half a step, not a whole step. It's ridiculous. So like playing an acoustic guitar, like all those strings, almost like every pack I've ever seen, the high E and B string will be plain. The rest are wound. It's like no one's bending the G string on an acoustic to a whole step. Like forget it. I think you might break the guitar's neck before you could actually do it. Just as much tension as you would need to bend that thing up. Good luck. So yeah, between like a 9 or a 10 gauge for the high string would be good. I wouldn't go any higher than that unless you just want to experiment with what it would feel like and sound. But it's like I used to use 10s a lot, like 10 to 52, but then I don't remember why I tried it again, like the 9 to 46. It was just so easy to hit bar chords. Like it's just so much easier to fret things. However, these are a 10 to 52 right now, because this guitar, the way it's built, is to have a lot less tension than a normal guitar, so I wanted to see what it would be like to have the 10s on there. But when I change strings again, I'll go back to the 9s and see how that feels. But yeah. So, moral of the story, go for a 9 gauge or a 10 gauge. That should work fine. Anyway, let's play this guy with the goal of keeping the thumb down, muting the low E string the entire time, and being aware of any dissonance that may come through. If you hear any dissonance, most likely the thumb came off. And stop right where you are, fix that, and try again. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. One 80. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 240. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, number 2, new rhythm pattern, 60. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 3, 4 and 2, 3 and 4. 1 and 3, 4 and 2, 3 and 4. Done. 120. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 3, 4 and 2, 3 and 4. 1 and 3, 4 and 2, 4. Done. 180. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 240. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, number 360. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3 and 1, 2 and 4. 120. 1, 2, 3, 4. 180. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 240. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. So yeah, for the rest of those minor chords, just remember to continue to use that same major scale pattern. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No matter what the root note is. So always go up 1, 2, 3, flat third. So you put in the root note, put in the flat third after you get it, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just do that every single time. So start with the major scale shape, put in your root note, 1, 2, 3, flat that third, put down the flat third, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, put that guy in. So remember, always skip every other note name, and a little bit of a hint. There is such a thing as a double sharp and a double flat. Hint, hint. All right, any questions come up, let me know. I'll see you again next week.